The drama continues in chapter 30 of 1 Samuel. So remember in chapter 29, David gets rejected by all those Philistine commanders. They basically don't trust him and they say, get and go back to Ziklag. I try. But when they do, it says they found it burned. Their wives, sons, and daughters had been kidnapped. David and the troops with him wept loudly until they had no strength left to weep. That would be a horrible situation to come home to. But verse 6 ends with, but David found strength in the Lord his God. Rather than despairing over the destruction, he turns to the Lord in prayer and worship. And he consults the Lord. Should I go and get my people back? And the Lord says, yes, pursue them. For you will certainly overtake them and rescue the people. So David and 600 men set off, and they find an Egyptian who they kind of nurse back to health a little bit. And this person led them to the raiders. 400 of these men continued their pursuit while 200 stopped because they were too exhausted. And that's important for our story. So just like God said, David conquers everything. The children, their wives, nothing of theirs was missing from the youngest to the oldest, including the sons and daughters and all the plunder that the Amalekites had taken. So on their way back, those 400 soldiers meet the 200 that were too exhausted to come back and that stayed with the belongings, the supplies that we had. And those 400 soldiers were like, no, wait a second. They didn't do nothing. Give them back their children and their wives, but they don't need any of this plunder. But David said, my brothers, you must not do this with what the Lord has given us. He protected us and handed over to us the raiders who came against us. One thing that I see immediately is it's not my brothers. I know that we did all of this, but God. But God did all of this. We must not do this with what the Lord has given us. You didn't get it. You got it because the Lord said that you could get it. It's the Lord's. So they shared the plunder equally, and David came back to Ziklag.